Okay, so today we are heading to Sri Lanka to climb one of the most incredible ancient sites on Earth, Sigiriya, the Lion Rock Fortress. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site that just erupts out of the jungle floor, a massive, sheer column of rock that was once the center of a powerful kingdom. And that really brings us to the big question, doesn't it? In an age with no cranes, no power tools, no modern machinery, how on earth did they build this? A palace, a city, and a fortress, all perched on top of this rock. It's one of history's greatest engineering puzzles, and we're going to dive right in. So our journey starts where any climb would, right at the very bottom. Before we even think about going up, you've got to get a sense of the sheer scale of this place. This wasn't just a castle on a rock. It was a huge, brilliantly planned city sprawling out from its base. So what exactly is Sigiriya? Well, the name means Lion Rock. And back in the 5th century, this enormous chunk of granite was completely transformed into a capital city. Its design is it's a masterpiece of urban planning, perfectly blending these really precise geometric layouts with the wild natural landscape all around it. As you walk into the complex, the very first thing you see are these vast, beautiful gardens. But, these were way more than just a pretty entrance. They were a statement. This was a man-made paradise designed to show off power and create a little piece of heaven on earth. Honestly, it's a testament to the unbelievable ingenuity of the people who built it. And think about that for a second. This isn't just a nice park. We're literally walking through one of the earliest and most sophisticated examples of landscape architecture on the entire planet. The whole design is incredibly complex. It's actually made up of 3 totally different but interconnected styles. First, you've got the water gardens, with all their perfect, symmetrical pools and fountains. Then there are the boulder gardens, which kind of embrace the chaos, using these huge, natural stones and linking them with winding paths. And finally, you get to the terraced gardens, which start to take you up the base of the rock itself. Now here's where it gets really clever. The whole water system is powered entirely by gravity. Rainwater was collected in this massive, man-made lake that sits above the gardens. From there, a whole network of underground pipes and channels sent the water down using natural pressure to make the fountains work. And the truly mind-blowing part? During the rainy season, some of these 1,500-year-old fountains still work today. All right, now the real climb begins. We're leaving the gardens behind and starting up these steep staircases that are literally bolted to the side of the vertical rock face. And we're heading towards some of Sigiriya's greatest treasures. In this sheltered little pocket on the side of the rock, you find the Sigiriya Frescoes. Now get this. Ancient records say there were originally 500 paintings of these celestial maidens. 500! But after a millennium and a half of weather and, sadly, vandalism, today only 21 of them survive. But you can see just how powerful those 21 still are. A modern visitor calls them absolutely breathtaking, vibrant, and extraordinarily well-preserved. Even after 1,500 years, the colors, the details, they can still just leave you completely speechless. Right past the frescoes, you come to something called the mirror wall. Originally, this brick wall was covered in this special plaster that was polished to such a high shine that the king could literally see his reflection as he walked by. But over the centuries, it became something totally different, basically an ancient message board for tourists. And this is what's so cool. For more than 1,200 years, people have felt compelled to write about their experience here. You've got an 8th century traveler writing this beautiful little poem, comparing his awe to how geese must feel when they see a lake. Fast forward to today, and a modern visitor writes on a travel site that, despite the crowds and heat, it's an absolute must. The technology has changed, but that human impulse to share the wonder, that stayed exactly the same. So we keep climbing, and we finally reach this mid-level terrace. This is where the famous Lion Gate once stood, and it's where we really get to the dramatic human story at the very heart of this incredible place. So, who was the man behind Sigiriya? His name was King Kashyapa I. Now, he was the son of a king, but not the son of the royal queen. So in 477 CE, he seized the throne from his own father. His half-brother, who was the rightful heir, fled to India, probably fearing for his life. Kashyapa's time as king was short, it was dramatic, and it was pretty much defined by this one single massive project. Terrified that his brother would come back for revenge, he moved the entire capital here, to this seemingly unbeatable fortress. But in the end, his palace in the sky couldn't save him. When his brother Maglana did return with an army, Kashyapa's own forces deserted him on the battlefield, and he ended up taking his own life. But here's the mystery. History gives us these conflicting views of the man. Was Sigiriya the fortress of a paranoid tyrant? I mean, one story even says he murdered his own father by walling him up alive. Or was he just a playboy king, building himself the world's most elaborate pleasure palace? The truth is, we don't really know. It's one of Sigiriya's greatest secrets. After the final climb, up through what used to be the throat of a colossal lion sculpture, you finally make it to the top. The palace itself is long gone, only the foundations are left. But you can still see these massive cisterns carved right into the rock to hold water. And you can see the king's stone throne, placed in the perfect spot to give him an absolutely unparalleled 360-degree view of his entire kingdom. He was master of everything he could see. So, that's the history. But what's it actually like to visit Sigiriya today? Let's connect this ancient wonder to the modern world and figure out why, after 1,500 years, it still draws hundreds of thousands of people every single year.
Well, if you look at what people say online, a really clear picture emerges. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is just blown away by the views, the frescoes, and the sheer audacity of the construction. On the flip side, a lot of people also mention the pretty steep entrance fee for tourists, the huge crowds, and, of course, the tough climb in that intense Sri Lankan heat.
So if you're planning on making the climb yourself, and you totally should, here are a few insider tips from people who've done it. Get there early, like before 8:30 in the morning. That way you'll beat the worst of the heat and the big tour bus crowds. Bring more water than you think you'll need, wear good, sturdy shoes, and yeah, just be ready for that entrance fee in your budget. Which brings us to the ultimate question. After all these centuries of study, the real purpose of Sigiriya is still up for debate. Was it an impregnable fortress born out of fear? Was it a sacred Buddhist monastery that was here even before the king? Or was it an attempt to build a literal palace in the clouds, a symbol of a divine home for a god king? Maybe, just maybe, it was all three. The rock holds on to its secrets, leaving the rest of us to wonder.